That was a pretty good song from Draken. Just to think outside the box and what's ahead. Welcome back to another chapter of Final Kombat. Last time, we just started Taven's expedition through the Botan jungle, and he followed the dirt road and soon came across an obelisk, which actually had Argus's hologram in it, which gave him a little bit of training against the Black Dragon thugs. And so, he followed the way and he came across Kitana, who actually wanted to prove that he's the real deal, and thankfully he was. Because Kitana actually slipped away from Edenia and the watchful eyes of the Edenian guards, because after hearing Armageddon from Blaze, she decided to pass on the message and recruit discreetly without worrying her family and such. And she came across Taven and she actually lost, but it proved to her that he was the real deal. Because, it's been millennials since she heard from him. So, Taven met up with Kitana. He eventually went to Argus's temple, and he found the Drake sword and the other weapon. I forgot what it was. He was then ambushed by the Tekuning clan, which was new. It was led by Sector. He was in the warship, which was shot down by the Special Forces, led by General Sonya Blade. And so he escaped the wreckage, returned to Orin, and he received news that he's going to Arctika in order to hunt down whoever's attacking him. So, on with the plot. Alright, continuation 2, Expedition in Arctika. Taven made his way to Arctika, the far reaches of the northern pole. The impact when Orin's portal ejected him left massive cracks onto the clear icy path, although Taven wasn't wavered by the bone-chilling air, as his body heat was as strong as a dragon's fire, and his boots made him as more sturdier than the tall pillars and sharp spikes. Amongst the rubble, he was able to find a Tarkatan blade, although his expedition was thwarted by the sounds of scuffling when a swarm of vicious tribesmen wearing orange garb ran street form. Thanks to his honed abilities, and with some help from the dagger he found, he was easily able to wipe the way as clean as the ice underneath him. Not even the storm picking up in wind, golf ball-sized snowflakes, and loose friction slowed him down. Surprisingly, the ice path never melted nor caved in, despite the brute and heat of Taven's moves. Still, he continued on to another swarm of those same wild men approaching him. It was unfortunate for them as Taven tossed some of the men into protruding spikes. Even when they detached some icicles, were of little issue for the unstoppable Edenian. As he progressed about a mile further, he made out some beastly roars emanating through the blizzard. The snarls belonged to what appeared to be a yeti, complete with a horned back and all that. It let out an ear-piercing bellow at Taven as he prepared for battle. Just like the ice beast, he never lost balance, although he was agile enough to avoid its swipes. The Tarkatan blade did little to no infliction, letting Taven get caught and beaten a few times in the monster's constriction. Still, Taven let out his fiery ferocity as he kept his distance and unleashed some large fireballs into the abominable's open chest. It even tried to conjure a massive pound, although Taven made his own while avoiding the shockwave, stunning the foe. It was a chance to close in with some pyro punches before the beast crashed back to the metallic barred door. Trending onto the fallen corpse, Taven headed through the broken exit. The blizzard picked up more that it almost blinded him, while the coarse wind made him weary. He was unable to notice another one of the monstrosities looking down at its prey from a nearby steep hill. It actually leapt from its perch and onto the icy path, just a mere foot from his next meal. Taven still put up his dukes as the beast drew nearer, only to have it hesitate and squeal as its back spewed some blood. A strike as if belonging to a rocket hit the intruder on contact before it collapsed in a heap. Taven's eyes hardly made out the opaque figure, with its symmetrical body descend by thrusters beneath its feet. It gently descended, then a group of ninjas, donned in blue and black, raced to them. Looks like I don't need my smoke to make the entrance. There was a digital tenor. Before Taven replied, Commander Smoke, we scouted the wilderness and noticed this man here. Oh, this must be him. So it is. I really want to thank you for saving my life. Who are you? The armored man pointed himself at Smoke, a member of the Lin Kuei. We occupy most of Arctika, but the wilderness is fraught with many dangers. Acknowledging Taven's garb, he reached out a hand. You don't look to be around here. Come, we will help you seek shelter from the storm. I appreciate the offer, Smoke. Lead on. The Lin Kuei escorted Taven to their own home turf just a few miles away. Lucky for them, thanks to the cybernetic enhancements, each of the men were able to follow Smoke as they activated them and pierced through the Arctic air as they flew to the looming temple. Taven mistakenly identified it as Delia's temple, but he'd mistaken it as it was known as the Lin Kuei base. So there's actually 2 temples instead of 1. In Armageddon, there's 1. The Lin Kuei temple was abandoned. Actually, it was Delia's temple, which was abandoned. The Lin Kuei occupied it, but it was abandoned after a while because of Frost's fallout. But it didn't happen here, as you would see in my last epic. So there's 2 temples here. 2 patrolmen stood side by side from the large slab of alloy. Smoke, you have returned safely. Yes, I have. We were scouting the outer perimeters until we spotted this man lost in the storm. It's not the first time we accepted an outcast. Go, you may pass. Inside the bright blue throne room, consisting of the glacier walls and regal flags, plus the rug leading to the Grandmaster Kuai Liang, who stood before Taven, even his close apprentice Frost, he spoke. Brother, it's about time you had returned. The snowstorm is becoming worse for scouting. Who is this weary traveler? Smoke uncovered his face, which had a check composure and short black hair. This is Taven. I'm not pronouncing this. We had found him lost in that blizzard. We even saw him wipe out those swarms of the vicious Tengu clan, even an ice beast. One of the ninjas declared enthusiastically. Even the cryomancers were impressed. He held his chin. Has he now? It would take several of our warriors to achieve the same feat as you have, unless if you are Smoke. I am intrigued. Frost's eyes just glistened upon the admiration. He may stay, or at least until the storm has passed. Thank you, Grandmaster. I am humbled by the offer. So why have you come here, stranger? I am looking for a temple here, one that belonged to my mother. The Lin Kuei were flabbergasted. This is a temple here, newcomer? No. I'm looking for my mother's temple. Her name is Delia. I was told there was supposed to be sacred weapons there. Have you heard of it? Everyone just mumbled. Oh, we would try looking it up on the Ethernet. But in this storm, it could only do so much. Alright, who says this? There's, another realm. Oh, Kuai. I believe I might know. A slicker woman with black and white locks marched out from a corner door behind the throne. Kuai introduced her as Serena, a defector from the Netherrealm. That name Dahlia seems remarkably familiar. She was revered as the Empress of Flame. Yes, she's my mother, Serena. Do you know the whereabouts of her temple? Rumors say she once occupied it around these parts, but it's still further into the dangerous wilderness. As she pointed yonder, her eyes abruptly noticed some red shines igniting from a nearby monolith. Those lights. They were never there before. Everyone went over to the window. They saw through the inclement weather. Serena said she couldn't make out the symbols on its base, but Taven came to the conclusion it looked similar to the ones he saw at the Botan jungle. As soon as you have recovered, and if the storm should pass, you are free to investigate. By the time the snowstorm finally subsided, minutes later, Taven went to it and then touched its basaltic surface. And you would have another training exercise, one of many. Those hieroglyphics are now... Wait, who is it? Those hieroglyphics are now brightening as much as those mysterious soul stones. Astounding. Even though it's by the abbot and his monks, but I don't believe it. They were boring characters anyway. Taven was engulfed in a blinding white light and he vanished. The ninjas just muttered to themselves of the incident. Instead, Taven was just transported inside another obelisk, only this one was imbued in red instead of the forest green like the previous one. By the time Taven unshielded his burning eyes, he received a transmission behind him. He instantly beheld his mom. And you'll see this here. As soon as she addressed them, masked figures materialized with black and magenta garb at first. Taven figured they belonged to the same assassins he dealt with in the rough jungles, yet still he fought them off. Serena and the Lin Kuei still remained outside in the bitter cold, though their keen vision noticed a flash of lightning reflecting from the icy path. At first, they thought it was snow thunder. As if that storm hasn't ended yet. All of a sudden, there was an even larger flash that completely covered the entire area, and they almost instantly beheld the original guardian of Earthrealm, Lord Raiden. They returned. Well, they bowed low. They reiterated Taven's disappearance and were now awaiting his return. But the Thunder God had other ideas. I have come to reassemble your best warriors. There is a greater threat that will change the fate of all realms. Serena, I will send you to our new protector of Earthrealm, your close ally, the goddess of light, Ashra. She's waiting for you in the Sky Temple. She will tell you on what's about to unfold. The reformed demon nodded before he opened a portal there. And as you can see, Ashra from the last fic has been promoted to the goddess of light, and she's now a new protector of Earthrealm appointed by Raiden and Fusion. I wish the games would be like this. If only Ashra was able to be emancipated from the Nether Realm. So Taven fought off the army. This caused him to cough at times because they had the toxic cloud. Eventually it wore off when he defeated them in time, just before his strength wore off. Some of the Lin Kuei wished Taven safe journey, while others escorted him to Delia's temple. He was then exposed to the bone-chilling air again, which merely took him off guard, and it was a stark contrast to the cozier obelisk. It was empowered by his mom's fiery aura, after all. Small gathering warned Taven of the traps ahead, although they seemed vague in their memory as the sight, though blinding bites and volleys of snow. It wasn't until a series of loud clangs coming from a pair of lethal crushers boomed. The ninjas had a bit of a struggle climbing over the handles, even when they needed to lift them by their feet, while Taven took on the challenge of memorizing the rhythmic patterns, like he did with Argus's traps. A few of these deadly contraptions awaited the little team, but they managed to press on. Taven even found a Chaos Realm cleric's mask amongst the traps. Like I said, I don't know how useful these relics really are. He also found a special emerald that shined brighter than the thick flurry as he fought off more of those aggressive Tengu, while his teammates assisted with their swift martial arts and ice blades for close combat. He then managed to enter a nearby stone chamber, where he found a longer and sharper drake sword, which proved to be twice as effective against more of the feral Tengu clan. After he bashed through a chunk of snow stuck in a rocky wall with minimal effort, he found another red barret cap, which was Jax's, by the way. He headed further, following icy paths. One of the ninjas halted him as he stuck out an arm. He noticed the throwing contraptions that possessed two blades, which were rotating and moving rapidly like helicopter rotors. He advised Taven to be wary at all times, and be as nimble to avoid lethal abrasions. One of them even wished he could possess cryomancy like Kuei and Frost. These are like the instant death traps, by the way. Taven's agility was useful, as were the Lin Kuei, even when temporarily stalling them with their thrown shurikens. The two used them for the side hammers to activate their lunges before they should lose a limb. It wasn't long before they were ambushed again by another wave of the Tengu, even when Taven found a pair of Zato sunglasses. Man, there's just no end to these guys! As the flurry suddenly cleared, the warriors exclaimed, "Good! With that storm gone, I can see that looming temple up ahead. It's yonder up this path here, but beware for traps." Oh, thanks for the warning. More of those deathly rotors greeted them, only this time the small one moved left to right while the larger one swayed from front to back in different tandems. Narrow scars in the snow were shown as they cut through the air like scalpels. Still, the team stopped them with their shurikens, assisting Taven to progress. After another army of Tengu, the Lin Kuei had their hands full, while Taven wandered ahead. He hardly noticed the warrior clad in golden linings, with his hot velvet gear and cape, as he leapt down just inches in front of him. What? So it is true! Delia's son has returned to claim the prize and save the realms. I figured you would eventually come to this place, Taven. You seem to know much about me, but I know nothing of you, friend. He stated the last word with bitter sarcasm. I am no friend of yours. I am Rain, a prince of Edenia. Once I have defeated you, I will find and kill your brother as well. Then I will claim the prize. Well, Prince, let us see what you can do. Oh man, it's Rain. As you all know, I haven't highlighted him in forever. It wasn't since my first epic, Shaolin Monks Part 2. Sorry for the interruption, guys. Alright, here we are. They both put their dukes up. At first, the battle was just between them, exchanging blow after blow from their basic assaults, until Rain rose the bar, utilizing his own blade, clanging with Taven's new Drake sword. Then he upped the ante more as he finally unleashed a hydro pump from his palms, which knocked the Edenian down. They were almost as pressurizing as a water cannon, yet still Taven's momentum allowed him to evade and charge with his own pyro strikes. Later on, the hydrokinesis disabled his pyrokinesis temporarily, but due to the frigid climate, they sometimes shattered onto the path below like glass. And thanks to his brute strength and his newly found weapon that Taven found, Rain eventually evaporated with a shrill cry. The trio of Lin Kuei then caught up with Taven. Are you alright? That was close. The Hydro Wielder can be very powerful in this unrelenting environment. He was no match for me. I guess all this time sleeping hasn't deterred me. Yet. They spotted a couple more of these cutthroat rotors, one moving faster in the front than one in the rear. Again, the Lin Kuei threw their ninja stars to pause the blades, before the group was met by a sudden fire dart shot from above. Following the assault, Taven conjured and thrust his pyro balls toward the occupants in the multiple towers whenever he should see them. The nearby place was defended by more archers and some flaming cannons. Many shurikens were thrown, though it was Taven who managed to clean house. The low-ranked warriors rotated as they disabled the cannons and took down the archers, which seemed more nimble than the latter, though it didn't take long for their team efforts. En route to Delia's temple, Taven found the same purple and yellow vial his other assailant was wearing, as he bashed open another indentation covered with a thick wall of snow. He also found a rag doll of sorts in another indent, which seemed to give him a bit of nostalgia. Still, the tumultuous journey turned favorable as the group was finally able to enter the foreboding stronghold, but they all knew the expedition won't be easy. Phew! This must be Delia's temple. The gang beheld a multi-story shrine with numerous icicles and sharp stalactites all over the bleak gray navy blue stronghold. My mother's temple must be here, but it's now occupied by a clan of ninja. Locating the item she left me will not be easy. I'll have to fight my way inside. As the group went inside the spacious cubicle, the two entrances were suddenly blown shut. Swarms of enemies wearing black and blue garbs leapt out of the many portholes. The Lin Kuei knew it wouldn't be one of their kind. They were nervous despite the chilly air that someone must have beaten them here, but the enemies seemed more easier to sweep away. Through a couple corridors, the ninjas followed the Edenian, even when he bashed open a nearby glass canister, revealing a massive jade which might have once belonged to a powerful sorcerer. Taven entered another large cubicle, which had the ice scepter laying on the ground. I wonder if this was the weapon my mother left me. But I still have a long way to go. There was a rear door encased in ice, but of course, more of those familiar, though foreign, enemies proceeded. Taven wielded the sparkling new weapon as if it were a keyblade, having it emit below zero mist and then cutting through. Eventually, the momentum made Taven pound and break apart the sealed door. Amongst several more of those skinny halls, Taven helped the ninjas bash through a wall of spiked ice, and also found a thin, rubbery teal-blue mask, as if it belonged to Frost from before. He then looked dazed as he stared into space. Hey, what gives? Oh, I seem to have remembered something. He held his head. I think I can escape out of some place while envisioning the outside in my mind. I just now can recall this. Well, it's about damn time you remembered. This can be useful. He tried it for himself as he spun around on his toes rapidly, similar to Kung Lao's tornado kick, and his body disappeared in an abrupt burst of flame. Then he reappeared. Still, the Lin Kuei were anxious as they called for him to follow them. There was another roomy chamber no longer covered with rows of enemies. At last! Well, I think I might have changed the dialogue here.
At last, an empty room. Maybe I can
Rest? Think again, intruder. You may have bested my Lin Kuei warriors, but you will not get past me.
And you are?
I am Sub-Zero, Grand Master of the Lin Kuei, and you are trespassing. Fight!
Or not. Courtesy of the ice scepter that the Edenian found, as well as his own pyrokinesis, the lethal guardsman had his swifter, wider ice blades cushioned. He almost had the same type of brute as Taven's, but not quite as much brawn. He noticed his Drake sword wasn't effective against Sub-Zero's Shotokan until he took out the Kuri blade. However, with the increasing body temperature, it surely melted the ice, especially around the opponent's heart by the time he was defeated. Wait! You are Sub-Zero? You don't look like the other ninja with that name. Are you two somehow related? As he slowly rose to his feet by his sore muscles, the rival took notice of the dragon tattoo Taven had on his face and left cheek, while the rest of his team finally recovered. And I think this plays here.
Your tattoo?
What about it?
It resembles the dragon image on the door behind you. Who are you? And why are you here?
This must be it.
This must be what?
This temple was a shrine to my mother, before your clan commandeered it.
I assure you, it had been abandoned long before we arrived.
I realize that. My name is Taven. I merely came here to retrieve something. A gift from my mother.
Then tell me, where is this gift?
Most likely behind this vault door.
The door on the right was unlocked when we first arrived here years ago. There was nothing inside. The other door has remained sealed, despite our best efforts to open it.
It seems my brother has already been here to retrieve his gift. Strange. That would mean he's been awake for quite some time.
I assume you have a key.
You could say that.
You have your gift. Now tell me, for what purpose would a sorceress leave her son such a powerful set of armor?
Apparently, I need it for my quest. Something important is supposed to happen once I complete it, though I do not know what that something is yet. At first, I assumed the quest was nothing more than a game, but I'm no longer certain.
What do you mean?
A warrior named Rain mentioned something about saving the realms, and I've also been repeatedly attacked by assassins in red. I don't recognize their crest, though it seems vaguely familiar. A dragon, I believe. Do you have any idea who they are?
I may.
Oh, there's a different part here. What? Nothing. To answer your question, I've been searching for my younger brother Kuei during these past few tumultuous months. I would be damned again while I discovered he was willing to relocate to Arctika. Your brother? I thought you two would be related. Yes, it's been too long since I'd seen him. I need to make my word for it. He must be at that other temple wearing the dragon medallion even. He then noticed the scuffle of feet from the trio. Oh, you must be the Lin Kuei? Yes, we are. I don't wish to attack you, but I must have some... Oh. I don't wish to attack you, but I must have some business to attend to with my missing brother. Did you say something about a dragon? Was it red? I believe so, as if it was a tattoo of fresh blood. Why? These must be the red dragons that were hunting you down. Yes, quite suspicious since they had a rivaling gang that broke out from them named the Black Dragons. We had heard about them many times since we were all from China, although the Japanese Shiraryu is our primary enemy. Before the ninjas corrected him, Bihan continued, I can't help you get inside their base, but I can reveal its location. Where? Charred Mountain. As Taven made it out with his acquired escape maneuver, the ninjas grew petrified not just from the bitterness in the air, but by anxiety's icy grip as well. They received word from the Grandmaster, who also had intel of the Special Forces, that Sector returned from the dead. They thought it was Nero that rebuilt and reprogrammed him before Sonya identified the new Takunin clan. The Takunin clan? This sounds familiar. From that warship I was held captive in. Still, I wonder why my parents' temples would reside in Earthrealm instead of Edenia. Perhaps they had been relocated there. But why? But all those uprisings as of late. The Takunin? The Red Dragons? And Master Raiden said there was a battle he needed to prepare for with our best men. I wonder what in another realm it bodes. Then I must find my brother, if it's not too late. Hearing the Thunder God's name gave Bi-Han a sense of irritation, but his brother's whereabouts were more important. I want to thank you for hinting me of Kuei's predicament. Good luck on your quest, Taven. He mentioned before he just slammed down a nut which emitted a blinding flash of light deflecting from the icy surroundings. As Taven's vision blurred for a while, he looked up at the patchy sky. I hope you would reunite with your brother someday. I wish I could do the same with mine. Ah, poor Taven. Taven noticed Bi-Han left behind an amulet of the dragon's engraving on it, a cerulean fan with sharp spikes protruding from the tips, and a piercing sharp armband as souvenirs before he reached the portal where he started. It was unfortunate that Bi-Han lost connections with his brother, as he had chosen a path of darkness. I wish I could help them reunite, and perhaps someday I would do the same with Dagon. I pray that he hadn't suffered the same unfortunate fate and be broken off like they had. But now that I know the location of the Red Dragon's stronghold, I must return to Orin. He will be able to transport me there. Maybe then I will find some answers as to why I'm being pursued. Taven returned to Orin at the same cavernous, magmatic location, relieved for once to no longer be exposed to the uncomforting Arctic. Taven, you have acquired a new set of armor. It's the item Mother left me to help with my quest. Are you ready to begin your search for Blaze? Not yet. The warriors in red ambushed me again outside the temple. I met someone there named Sub-Zero, also named Bi-Han. He said he was looking for his lost brother, and he gave me information that could lead me to them. Who are they? He said they're called the Red Dragon Clan. His Lin Kuei recently located their stronghold. It's in Charred Mountain. Taven then made a right tone. I would like to visit them before I search for the fire spawn. They may be the ones who stole my father's sword. Will you send me there? As you wish. To some extent, the serpent replied with a slight hint of bewilderment or disappointment. Taven noticed, quickly discarded the change of heart as he bowed and marched through the liquid gold portal. And the dialogue's a little different, so that's why I didn't play the cutscene. God damn! This was a very long and tumultuous chapter to write. I'm so glad it's over, and it was more irritating since there were so many parts I had to cut out. Honestly, I never cared about the monk leader nor the head of the Tengu, and since Frost was recruited and never turned corrupt, she didn't have to become delirious as she broke out of her prison. There was no noob nor smoke as the cyborg helped Taven, and the elder brother was in search of Kuei, which was the Sub-Zero that Taven met. Also, the second part of the Lin Kuei Palace was cut, since it was pretty much optional, and I figured there shall be 2 temples instead of just the Lin Kuei's turf, since they never abandoned their post. So unfair, since they literally lost everything after Frost's shitty betrayal. God damn it. I always hated it when it happened, and it's no good for no good reason. What are they supposed to be, the personification of treachery? Well, definitely works. This is not how Frost should be. God damn it. And there are the songs. I didn't find use for most of the characters anyway. This chapter was a backbreaker here. And my back is sore as we speak. Especially those expeditions in Arctica and all the changes I had to make. Even when Raiden needed to recruit the best warriors. So I think I'd switch gears and focus on the main cast for a while. Like in the Return of the Dragon King epic, Conquest was certainly a grind to me. I hope Charred Mountain won't be as tedious as this. Until then, this is the Ekron Rider signing out. And stay tuned for the next chapter, which will focus on the main cast.